Hello, everybody.
How are y'all doing? Ooh.
Yeah, how's Ray doing? Hope you guys are doing well.
I'm doing so well. How are you all doing?
Excellent day.
Yes, mucho.
Yes, mucho grande, extra large, good, like GOOD.
Excellent.
Good. Oh my goodness, yes. I'm so excited to be here with everybody today. Yes. You know, sometimes on stream tonight, today, forever and ever. You know, in 2020, there's no concept of time. Like what?
There isn't. But you know what?
January.
The thing that we can all be happy about is we are still here. We got our health.
Tell them.
And you know what? Those are the things that I'm like, each day we wake up and we're smiling and we're healthy. In these times, that's a good thing. So I'm glad we're all here together in the same space with the same good old health that we're still rocking with.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. And first of all, before we get into anything, let's get into Alicia's shirt. I'm like, Alicia, that shirt is sexy.
The shirt, the hair. I mean, Alicia, like she said, you are the nymph ballerina that I aspire to be.
I love it.
Here, I'm so into from all the things in the web.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Am I extending and reaching?
You are. It's like reach up.
And
Alicia's like extend.
I literally, when I saw that picture, Alicia, all I heard was my dance instructor like, keep extending and extending and reach, don't stop moving and keep going and then down. And I was like,
only up, back. There's only one direction. Okay.
We can go up from here. You all, I'm so excited. So we have such an amazing episode planned for you all. And we have not one guest backstage, but tell them how many guests we have.
We have 5. 4. 5.
We have several guests.
Several.
I don't know how to count.
We got lots of people backstage.
We do.
It's full, and the panel tonight, fam, is out of this beyond.
It's beyond.
They're amazing.
Pat McGrath's intergalactic, interstellar, celestial world.
Sublime.
Major.
There we go.
Major panel.
We're so excited that they are joining us tonight and making tonight's episode, like I always say, exactly what it needs to be. It could not be what it's going to be without them. And Kelsey, take it away. Wait, I'm going to do our intro.
Oh, excuse me. We did it. See, if we were on Alicia's channel, we would have a little bit of sound effects. So I'm just going to make them over here. Okay.
I would have done intro music for each and every one.
I'm gonna miss that today. I needed that.
And our intro music.
Yes.
I know that's not even it, but you know, this is what I be doing backstage.
It's kind of close.
It's so good.
Okay.
Yes. Why don't you reel us in, yeah?
Yes.
All right, you guys. So welcome back to another episode of Behind
the
Beauty.
Woo! You guys, if I didn't say it already, we are doing an episode talking about our experience of being Black in the beauty community, you know, and it's different areas of the beauty community. And the people that we have backstage are some of the best people that I felt like we could come on and talk to about this experience because we all have different experiences. Exactly. Me, Kelsey, and Alicia, as well as our guests backstage. And you all probably know who they are based on the thumbnail, but I'm going to bring out everybody individually and let you all know who we're going to have on our panel today. So first up on the panel is my girl, Mo Makeup.
Hello.
Mo has such an interesting story to share. So Mo is an accomplished person, okay? So not only is she beautiful, because get into these eyes, you all. She was a special respiratory care nurse who works with individuals on ventilators and extreme cases who have breathing problems. And we all know how serious it is to breathe, because if you don't, you're going gonna do what. Anyways, so Mo has since transitioned from doing that, and she is now in her passion field. She works as a cosmetologist for Vidal Sassoons, and she does the cuts and the color. And so she has such a vast experience in both beauty inside and out. Let's give it up for Mo.
Yes.
Thank you so much
for coming and being a part of the show. Mo, could you tell us, how did you transition from being a nurse to being a cosmetologist?
I literally woke up one day and I said, I'm missing too much of life, the fun. I'm literally dealing with death every single day almost. I needed to get to something that I loved a little bit more, because yes, it's so self-rewarding to help others in their darkest of times, but to help them in another way. So the fams and we talked and we decided that let's get out of that and let's do something else that I love just as much. And
I love it.
Here we are.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, Mo. That was an amazing
honor.
Story. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Mo.
To have you here. Let's bring out another one of our guests, shall we? So next up, we got my girl Vikeejeah up in
Vikeejeah.
Hello, everybody. What it is?
What it is?
He received her BFA in graphic design from Stanford Brown College in 2016. He also was a beauty editor for Lisa a la Mode from 2016 to 2018. Now she works as both a content creator. She's a mom full-time to my Aquarius sister Nala, my little 2-year-old sister. And she also is a personal beauty consultant specializing in luxury beauty. Thank you so much for being here with us, Vikeejeah.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate you so very much.
Absolutely.
And we must say her famous line in all her videos. Let's help her welcome us, welcome me. Is that how?
Welcome me, welcome you. Yeah.
There we go.
I knew I was gonna screw it up, but I got close. I love it when she says. I be trying to say it on cue when she says it.
I love it. I love it. So let's go ahead and roll through. I got somebody backstage that's ready. We got the Plastic Boy.
A brother from across the pond.
Come on.
Period. Okay, the Plastic Boy was the first male to front a beauty campaign in the UK. For who?
Oh, now
L'Oreal Paris.
Oh, right.
Y'all know about him.
That little L'Oreal who owns about almost everybody in the beauty industry.
Yes.
You guys are killing me.
Come on, L'Oreal Paris.
Hey. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's get it rolling. So I see somebody backstage. I'm gonna see if they ready to come on out here. We got the SPNation. Y'all, I gotta say this real quick. Me and the SPNation, we're vibing so hard that he matched my background to my eyeshadow. And I'm like,
do what I can.
Come on. The SPNation has worked in the beauty world for over 15 years. He has worked as a makeup artist, a consultant, and an e-commerce manager. He's managed several multi-million-dollar accounts for brands including Guerlain, Dior, and TV shows that you all probably know. It has been trained by countless luxury brands. Let's give it up for the SPNation.
The SPNation.
Yes.
Y'all know how technology is, right? We know how technology is. We have one more person that is kind of backstage. She backstage right now. She gonna come on out when she gets it all together. Yeah, we're gonna work on this internet with her. Yeah, technology being a little raggedy. And so when she gets here, we'll bring her on out and we'll do the introduction for her. But for now, I'm so excited to have this amazing, beautiful panel. But you all know, you know us. But we never talk to you about what we do. So I feel like it's important to spend a few moments and just give it up for the Behind the Beauty Booze. So I got to talk about my girl, Glam Girl Chelsea. Y'all, GlamGirlChelsea has a doctorate, okay? She is Dr. Chelsea, all right? That's what she does tell y'all. But she has a doctorate in public health and epidemiology. Mm-hmm. Can y'all spell epidemiology, let alone have a degree in it? A doctorate?
No.
All right.
We're just studying infectious illnesses. You know, let's keep it simple. They just like to put fancy words on degrees, that's all.
Listen. She's a mom of two, and she enjoys running races. Okay, so your girl has been in multiple 5Ks and 2.5 marathons. So several other people up here. Apparently, everybody pretty much up here is a runner, with the exception of a few of us, myself included. I will not. Okay, Kelsey, I don't run. Yes. And then y'all know my girl Alicia.
Come on,
AKA Kinky Sweat, AKA Miss Sweat if you nasty.
She posed herself.
Yeah. Alicia has a BFA in dance from Fordham University / what school, Alicia?
The Ailey School.
Oh, the what?
Alvin.
The Alvin.
Come on, girls.
Alvin Ailey School for college.
Yes.
That's why she's the best.
Listen, she's a working fitness professional specializing in body weight, strength, and flexibility. Throw that leg up there in a circle, Alicia.
There we go.
Yes. Okay, so wait a minute. We got. Hold on.
It is.
Oh.
Come on,
we'll have to come on back. So let me tell y'all about myself. So I am the hostess with the mostest, your girl, Kelsee Briana Jai. All right, I call myself a beauty baby because I literally grew up in the beauty. You know, from 15 in my stilettos to stay strutting in this thing. You know what I'm saying? So I have been in the beauty industry since I was a kid, and I've gone to school. I have my MBA, and I'm currently working on my doctorate as well in business.
Dr. Kelsey on the way.
It's on the way. And I've also worked with countless celebrities and with luxury makeup artists and counters as well. So I'm excited to be here amongst these beautiful people today. So, period. Thank you all so much for being here. Now that you all know who we are, I felt like that was very important to say because we don't talk about what we do and, you know, a little bit more about us off of the internet. So thank you all so much. But you all also know that we do rapid fire around here. We do. And I am the president of the Beehive. Okay. And I just want to start us off on a very light note and talk about really quickly, rapid fire. Real quick, what's your favorite Beyonce album? Starting with Chelsea and go.
Actually, I'm gonna have to go with Homecoming because that's still just.
Oh yeah.
It's just it hits every time.
That's it. Alicia.
Because you took Homecoming, I'll take B-Day.
Okay.
That's another.
That one is a classic.
Classic.
It's a classic. Mo.
That was my favorite too.
Come on, B-Day.
I love it, but I love them more.
Come on, B-Day.
We can share, Mo. We can share.
Okay.
Brian.
Well, everyone who knows me, like, I do shade Beyonce from time to time, and I have to keep it 100 all the time.
How do I remove him off of here? No.
No, but I do like Beyonce, but I would say for me it would be 4 because it got me through a breakup. So
okay.
You know what?
4 is good.
I'll take it. The Plastic Boy.
I have to say, I can't remember what album it was, but you know that album with Diva on it.
Yes, I am Sasha Fierce.
Yes, like when I play Diva, this makes me happy. It gets me in the mood. I just love that song so much.
Yes.
She just bought it, especially like single ladies.
Yes.
So good.
Vikeejeah.
Now, okay. Are we just going with her solo albums or her productions as well? Because
do it all, baby.
Is my favorite.
Now that's special. That's special. Yeah. I'm here for it.
I play it almost every day.
For it. I love it. Come on, brown skin girl. Y'all, let's get into these questions on that note. And you know, my favorite, I would have to say, is self-titled Beyonce. So
that's a
I'm
big
She
excited.
stomped onto the scene with it, or
She
no,
did.
that was Dangerously in Love. I'm so
That's
sorry.
Dangerously in Love.
I
But
know
she
the one you're
stomped
talking
on.
about,
She
Yeah.
stomped into the
where
scene
she
all the
slapped
time.
the
So
industry in the face
Love
and
that
just
song.
dropped without any sort of promo.
Yes.
Yeah.
She stopped the
Yeah.
world. World
So
stop.
That was
And
with
then
Haunted.
carry on.
Period.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Alicia?
That had Haunted.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it did.
did.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Mm,
I love
mm.
that. I could see you dancing to that song, actually. Anyways, y'all, let's get into these questions. We have such a full conversation to be had. And we have questions that we have curated for everybody up here. And of course, we're going to give them a chance to answer, and then we're going to all weigh in, you know, as we see fit on each question. So my first question is for my girl, Vikeejeah. So, Vikeejeah, my question to you is, what are your thoughts on being a woman of color and purchasing from brands that have not traditionally marketed towards us?
Well, being a luxury content creator and a Black woman, it has been difficult. And I have, early on, I was very staunch about not compromising and not, and I didn't really understand what was behind it. And at the time, I was very much on my social justice thing because it was around 2015, 16. A lot was happening in the world, and I was super militant about what I did and who I supported. So that greatly affected the way I made my purchases, and through the years, I started to sort of learn more and do a little more research about why these brands were doing this, and and simultaneously the Fenty effect happened, and you started to see more brands starting to branch out and not just expand their range, but let people know that they already had it.
Yeah.
You know, so then that also changed the way that I looked at the at luxury beauty brands. So then we move forward to me focusing on luxury beauty in the YouTube space. And I mean, I'm just in general excited about luxury beauty, but I think that sometimes that comes across to people as me pandering to these brands or being grateful to be at the table, which is the furthest thing from me and what I would ever do. I promise you that. Now, I am very tactful about the way that I approach topics because I do eventually want to work with these brands, but I'm not going to compromise anything about my integrity for the sake of putting on some makeup. Like that's literally just not ever going to be me. So it is a balancing act to try to review the content that people want to see, stay true to my my morals and values, and try to push the needle forward at the same time. And I think that, you know, everybody is going to have an opinion about that, and I have to know going in that that is the case. I do receive some comments that rub me very much the wrong way, y'all. I look at it and I'm like, man, I could read her down right now, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a beat. I'm gonna talk my shit in my group chat, and then I'm gonna come back and keep it cute. So that's usually what I tend to do, and I think that's a lot of times what we have to do. I think of people like Jackie Aina, for example, who are kind of the face of the or at least at the forefront of Black beauty in the YouTube space, and the stuff that she has to put up with. And I think that, you know, that's small potatoes, like the stuff that I'm dealing with in comparison to what she deals with. And I'm just, you know, anticipating or sort of bracing myself for that, which really sucks to have to do. But I think in particular, being in luxury beauty, there is a certain mindset, like a collective mindset, that it does intentionally exclude deeper complexions, and that has a lot to do with the social, like the sort of global anti-Blackness that exists. Because I mean, you look at even just brands that gear towards the Asian market, they certainly do have dark-skinned Asians, but their focus is on very like Eastern Asian look. So when I think about that, and then I think about, you know, what we deal with here in the West, it's like, okay, well, I'm fighting an uphill battle, but it's one that I am prepared to fight because I take very seriously being representation for women who enjoy luxury that have deeper complexions.
And what do you think about what do you think about the thought process on kind of ensuring brands know that there is a market there? Because we've heard before brands say, oh, well, darker complexions don't buy luxury. So how do you feel about ensuring that they see, yes, there are women of color, men of color who do buy from you, and therefore you need to continue making these products for the shades that we can wear? What would you say about that?
I would say it's a collective effort. Of course, those of us who are the influencers and are taking on the responsibility of being the face and representation for those people, we need to do our part in reaching out and connecting with these brands, but also our audience who want to see these things need to continue to let these brands know about us and why they want to see it reviewed on somebody of their complexion, because that really, you're the consumer, so that's going to drive the effort, I think.
Awesome. I agree wholeheartedly. Mo, it looks like you had something that you wanted to chime in and say.
I love him so much. That whole thing of we're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
We're not buying it.
We're not buying that. Yes.
Right. We're not buying
Period.
Yes.
Exactly. That's old. It's stale. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, when are they going to get the fact that inclusion is actually good for business?
Yeah. Right.
This is it.
Absolutely.
So whether they believe that or not, Hourglass.
Come on. I went to an inclusion session at my job, and they showed 3 pictures, and they said which one is inclusive and offers equity amongst all 3 groups. And so it had a young child, an adult, and then a person who was in a wheelchair. And so it was 3 different examples of trying to get them all to see over this gate. And so the first picture just had all of them standing, and based on their heights and the height of the gate, it was like, hey, if you can't see over it, oh well. Then it had one where the blocks were uneven. So like the blocks for the younger child obviously was higher than the block for the adult versus the block with someone in a wheelchair. So it was like each person had different types of help, but they all got to the same point.
Equality versus equity, yeah.
Right. And then the last picture had everyone had the actual same type of help, and they also got to the same goal of being able to see over the gate. And it was like, wow, people think like, oh, well, we offered you this and then we gave you that. But it's like, but did you include everybody? And did everyone have the same opportunity to be included in that campaign? And I think a lot of times people think, oh, well, we gave y'all, 2 really dark, deep shades, but it's like, but what about the people in the middle? And then it's like, and what about the extremely fair people too? Because there are extremely fair people of color as well that are excluded from that equation. It's like, you got to really look at the whole scheme of things and really decide, am I being inclusive and equitable? Not just one or the other or neither.
Let me ask you this, Brian. As a person who has worked for so many luxury brands, going to trainings, what was the training process like when brands are like, okay, well, we don't have, this color for this particular group of people? What did they tell you to do? Like, what was that like behind the scenes?
Well, to be honest, there was very rarely a discussion. They never talked about it. There were never examples of, oh, what do you do when you have brown skin? There's no discussion. We never talked about it. Everything was always about, like, for instance, with Dior, everything was all about, the fairest shades. And they would say that there were shade options for deeper complexions. And even I would pose the question sometimes to my trainer on a regular basis. I would say, hey, I'm not neutral, but, that's all that Dior offers, which is why I have hated a lot of Dior foundations, just because they really don't lean to warm. And so I'm like, what about me? But she never had an answer. And she would always say, oh, I'll call Paris. Oh, I'll tell Paris, your concerns. Same thing with Clé de Peau.
Are we talking about the city? We're just calling Paris. Hello,
yeah, Paris. Yeah.
All right.
I guess just another.
Hello,
yeah.
Let me demolish on the phone.
Yeah, obviously. So But I mean, it was the same thing with that, or even with Clé de Peau. Literally, I told people on my YouTube channel the same thing. Year after year after year, I would tell Clé de Peau, where the hell are the concealers? Where is the foundation? And they would tell me the same thing. They would say, Japan's working on it. Japan's working on it. I'm like, y'all done solved a lot of stuff. I know Asian people know how to build stuff and make stuff real fast. So I'm like, girl. I don't know how many times I cursed this particular trainer out, because I'm like, he would just lie and he would just make things up. I'm like, just say you're not making shades for Black people. Like, just be honest. Yeah. And now now because of everything that's going on, especially like with Black Lives Matter, and then, you know, with Pull Up, Shut Up, all those things that, you know, have come, you know, have arisen. Now they want to say, oh, well, we have this foundation. But at the same time, I also have to take into account, because of my experience, I know that, for instance, that girl, that Clé de Peau Foundation, they had that in the works for years. You know, it's not something that they can just whip up. So it's kind of like, I have to accept that. But at the same time, I'm like, it's so convenient that you drop it now. So it's very frustrating.
It is. Especially because, like Chelsea and Vikeejeah were saying, you know, it's that constant cycle. Okay, as somebody who reviews products, do I not review it and then not help the people that it helps, and then have brands look like, okay, well, nobody dark skin likes it anyway, so we're not even going to bother? Or do we buy and then give them constructive criticism and then wait to see what they do and give them a chance? Now, for me, it's all about how long your chance has been. And if I feel like you are making positive strides towards trying to be more inclusive. Because like Brian said, you can't just whip something up that's amazing. You can't expect greatness overnight. And so to give these brands a chance, I feel like is personal how long you want to do so. But also I feel like you cannot badger people who are being more lenient with time than others. So it's all a personal thing. So let me ask this next question for Mo. How do you feel that consumers can best voice their opinion on how brands can be more inclusive within their marketing / imagery and products?
All right. Well, as consumers, our number one thing is we have to support. Okay, because one of their biggest marketing tools is the beauty influencer. They want you to show their product to then sell the product.
Right. So, in a realistic manner.
Right. So in the support, this puts the pressure on the brand in a sense of, okay, there's traction. All right. That market's doing well. Okay. Let's keep doing this. And, you know, there are times where we're going to have to call these brands out. It's just, it is what it is. There's really no nice way. There's no saying it this way or that way. You just got to call them out. Okay. How many times, I'm not going to call any names, but how many times do we see a brand repost the same thing, the same types, the same ones over and over and over? And you're like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll change my picture a little bit, or whatever the case may be. But you see the same actions. So I feel truly that it's all about the support, putting the pressure, reaching out to them, saying, hey, I saw Kelsey. She did an amazing video on so-and-so. I want to see more like that. You know, you guys need to try a little harder so that I can find something for myself. When I go on your social media, I want to see me. I want to see our beautiful rainbow, because people of color are not just one shade. Look at us all on the screen right now. This is a variety, a beautiful variety, a little bit of everything, literally. The most, I think it was 2018, these statistics are going to come from. The multicultural consumer accounted for 40% of the US population, in turn giving them a 3.2 trillion spending.
Say that number again, Mo. I don't think they heard you.
Who's at checkout? Us.
Thank you.
At a magnitude that does warrant your attention.
Yes.
At an amount that you should want to partake in.
100%.
Like I said, even if you don't like us,
right,
the money is
right.
Okay.
Wow.
Speaks for itself, honestly.
To be quite honest, you know, the money is green. And I see these brands, like, to Mo's credit, I see some brands utilize darker models, but usually the look is very flat. Or it's the other extreme of the high editorial and bold color. There are girls who are in between, and there are a ton of us who are in between. Like, I just, you know, and right now, I do feel like brands are pandering, a lot of them. However, I also believe that getting like the Put Up or Shut Up campaign, having people within the like higher levels of a brand are going to help.
Yes.
And whether or not they want the help is going to be the question.
Whether or not they want the help is going to be the question. Yo, it's been so many quotables.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not even halfway through the questions. Yo, okay, we got Vaniece on here. Vaniece.
Let's try to get her in.
Vaniece is having technical difficulties with StreamYard. She's being a trooper, y'all. Her internet's not working with StreamYard.
We can hear you.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yeah.
It keeps cutting her out. It keeps cutting her out. I don't know why it's not supporting her through the link. So she says she's going to try one more time. Oh, I hate that because...
Good question. I wanted to hear her thoughts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She said she's going to comment, but thank you, Vaniece, for coming.
I know.
Everybody here is a content creator, so we'll still have her information down in the description box.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go on to the TheSPNation's question, which is, do you feel that beauty brands will continue to include Black people / people of color in their marketing and product development? Or do you think that this movement is performative?
Hold on, give me a minute. Hold up.
Okay.
Yes. You know what?
It's coming. It's coming.
Let's go ahead and tip on that before we just talk your hair too.
Got my invisible hair. My invisible
hair. Get into it.
Oh, he's ready.
I think, of course, I think it will continue just because it's money. However, I think that, I guess this is just really hard just because my problem with it is that they always choose just this one Black model. They choose one tone and they run with it. And I've even been in situations where I have seen that they use models and they put a foundation on them, but the artist is putting things to alter the foundation because they cannot wear that shade. And because they'll show you like, oh, this model's wearing this shade. I'm like, she is not wearing that shade. Like she's too deep. There's no way she can wear that. Yeah. So, I mean, I have seen like a lot of lying just over the years and just a lot of fakeness. And I feel like, back to what Mo was saying about the buying power, like specifically the Black buying power, just in 2020, it's projected by 2021, specifically the Black buying power will be 1.5 trillion. And that's in, that's just across the board, just overall. And in beauty, it's well over $500 million that the Black buying power actually contributes to. So it's like, of course, common sense would tell you, you know, that's a lot of money. Why would you not want to be a part of it? But I think a lot, at the end of the day, I honestly think that they just look at it and say, well, overall, white people are spending the most money, so let's cater to them. And it's more accessible. And also they have this preconceived notion that Black people don't want luxury, which makes no sense. I can't tell you how many times I've been in meetings where I even told you guys this before, where I was in a Chanel meeting, and almost every time I was in a meeting, I was almost always the only person of color, and that's excluding any like Asian. There's no Asian, there's no Hispanic, there was no yellow bone, there was nothing. Like, it was literally, I was literally the only Black person at all. And even on my team at the retailer that I represented, I worked for Neiman Marcus, but I really was paid by Dior and Guerlain. And so dealing with that, everyone on my team was blonde, blue eyes, green eyes. Like there was no in between. And this is something I constantly had to deal with. And no one would take what I was saying to heart. Right. Nobody was paying attention to what, I would want to contribute to things like, oh, well, like it's kind of like you just push my thoughts to the side. So I do think that, yes, they will continue to do it. But I think it's really just about, they kind of feel like it's in vogue and they just want to be a part of just being in the moment. They know that people are really paying attention now. So of course they're going to bring more things up. You're going to see more Black faces, but at the end of the day, are they really making things for us? Not so much. So, but I also want to add that as far as the buying power is concerned, as far as what we can do as influencers, the thing about it is that if these brands don't see that there's a demand, then they definitely won't make it for us. And I think that's really important, just because I know when La Mer expanded their foundation shade range, and I made a video in 2018 about it, when I made that video, I made it clear to people that if you buy this, it will stay. And so you see, like my shade, I think Vikeejeah wears the same shade as me, like Sienna. Like that shade still exists because people are actually buying it. So that's like when Clay DePoe reached out to me and they wanted to send me all these foundation shades, and I was just over the moon by it. I, was trying to just get across that the foundation is amazing and you need to try this foundation. And they saw, I actually sent them data just showing people who purchase from my affiliate link and seeing the shades and seeing like everybody's like buying this foundation, which I was totally amazed with. And if you guys are in this room and you bought that foundation with my link, thank you so much. I don't know when that money gonna come, but I don't know. I think it take 1 to 2 business years. I'm not really sure, but
1 to 2 decades.
Yeah.
And so, this reminds me, and to your point, Brian, because Mo was saying that La Prairie got rid of one shade because no one was buying it.
Yep.
Right.
Oh,
yep.
What?
And I
didn't know they did dark shades.
Unacceptable. It wasn't even that dark. Sorry.
Oh, it's not even dark. It's not.
Like,
I know what you're talking about.
But it was dark.
That's one of those instances where they also don't advertise that they offer the shade so that they can make an excuse that when they get rid of it that no one was buying it. If no one knows that you have it, then they won't buy it.
See, my question. I'm sorry. Go, Gary. Go ahead.
Oh, we did enough with Prairie. This is like really crazy. This was like a year ago. They had an event in London, and it was to launch a new powder. My friend got invited, and she was like deeper than me. And when she got there, they actually had to come up to me and said, "We actually don't have a shade for you. Do you want to stay or leave? It's up to you." How awkward is that?
What?
Listen.
What?
So since then, that's why I didn't even know they did dark shades. So I'm so baffed. She was so upset.
Never say it before you walk in. Hey, we don't have nothing for you. You want to say?
Exactly. This was an early breakfast.
That's horrible.
Crazy.
That is
That's
horrible.
why I would never check for brands like that. It's just crazy to me.
My question is this, because we hear about like TheSPNation gave a perfect example of I'm the only person at the table. I want to know how we can get at the table, because in all honesty, I can talk about a foundation, a brand. I can say be inclusive all day long. TheSPNation is probably laughing because he's like, it ain't never going to happen. And I know, but it's like change really is not going to come until we're literally sitting at the table saying, I actually have control of what's going to be occurring within this company. And I forgot what brand representative we were talking to. And we had challenged them with this question. And it's like, as an influencer, we can only go but so far. The change really has to come from the top. And it's like, if you're refusing as a brand to incorporate people of color on your cabinet, across your board, to help actually bring about change, to actually direct launches and color stories, you're never really going to be inclusive. And in my opinion, you're never really going to have the consumer's best interest at heart. If all of us sitting here are basically the same complexion and we're the ones coming up with product ideas and the color stories, can we truly be inclusive? No, because everybody has a bias. As a scientist, our main objective is always trying to show the biases and figure out a way to take them away. But we know to the core, we're going to always have some room for bias. So the best part to try to eliminate it is to incorporate as many non-biased aspects so your research can be equitable. And these brands are not doing that. They just want to keep it all one level, all one playing field. Then you sprinkle in a little Black person here or there. Like the TheSPNation said, you have someone with chocolate skin, you say that she wears this foundation, but she's really wearing it as concealer, and that literally pisses me off because that's not foundation. Foundation is all over, matches my neck and my ears, not my under eye. I don't want to hear that. So that's really what I want to challenge these brands to do. I want to see change at the top, because when change happens at the top, we're going to see it at the bottom as the consumer.
I just wanted to say this for a second. I think like just from an executive level, just seeing it, I honestly don't know what they can do. I mean, of course they can give, people of color an opportunity, but I can tell you, even last night, like when Hedge Jacqueline, when she had Angela from Shantakai on there, it's just amazing to see her, because she is a Black woman and just a Black person who has that type of role. Because I will tell you that at Neiman Marcus, I worked technically at Neiman Marcus for well over 12 years. And in that time, and in being trained by countless brands, I can count probably on both hands the amount of Black people that I encountered who actually trainers, who were account executives, regional directors, PMMs, anything that's of a high status. It was so unheard of. There was Sarah Curtis Henry, and I told Angela last night that I'm pretty sure I've met her before. There was a woman who worked for MFK, Mason Francis Kirkshon Fragrances. I mean, there's literally like a handful of people, and you never see it. You only see white people. So it's just so when we see each other, it's like we always lock eyes, and it's sad because it makes me feel like almost like I feel like, I don't want to say like a slave. I don't know how to say this. Like, it's like when you lock eyes with somebody and it's like you see each other because it's like, you know where you come from, and it's just you connect. And it's just sad that we have to, even at my last job, it was the same thing. I was the first Black male. Actually, yes, I was the first Black male that they had hired since the company started over a decade ago. And people, and these white people in the office, they would tell me this. I'm like, what? And before I was laid off, they told me this Black girl showed up and she had braids. And I was like, what? Like, I had never seen a Black girl in the office. And she came up to me and she was like, hey, boo. And we just started talking because she's like, what am I supposed to do? Because it's just a sea of vanilla. Like, we trapped in the vanilla sea. I'm like, I don't know. It's just very frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Vikeejeah, what were you going to add?
I was going to double back just a little bit to the comment about Black people don't buy luxury beauty is very much rooted in it's very much rooted in notions that we don't have any money, like in general, like that we are poor, or that we and that if we are buying luxury beauty, that we probably aren't prioritizing other things in our lives, which again is very anti-Black.
Yes.
So even just hearing that microaggression of Black people don't buy luxury beauty is really saying, I'm not considering you because you're a non-factor in this socioeconomic space.
Yeah, we know that is not true.
Which is a total lie, because how many degrees did we hear in here? And how many women in our country, just speaking specifically about America, and how many Black women are acquiring degrees and moving up in the socioeconomic ladder?
I'm talking about more so than any other group.
Especially right now. Yeah. So it is a very dated concept, like Mo was saying.
Yeah.
And these brands need to catch up. And that was something, that exact phrase is what I used when TheSPNation, thank you so much, Boo, sent me the Clé de Peau foundation, and I talked about it. Like, the initial shade was the wrong undertone, and I didn't know what the other range, what the rest of the range looked like. But I said, I see other brands that are comparable in price doing this, and and Clé de Peau needs to catch up.
Yeah.
Yep. So true.
Agreed.
Look at Tom Ford doing it as well. Yeah. So if they can do it, Clé de Peau can do it.
Everybody can do it.
Thank you.
It's just, do you want to do it? So
Exactly.
I think that it's really important too, to show the support, like to double back on what I think Brian was saying. Yes. And he linked his Clay to Poe Foundation, and he was able to show these statistics directly to the brand.
Yep.
Now, this is so important because as influencers and, you know, content creators, whatever we wish to call ourselves, we're literally putting our all into our channels. And I've spoken about this so many times where, you know, we aren't necessarily going to be at the forefront of where brands are going to be able to see us. And so it is very important for them to be able to know, like, no, we're here, okay? Right. And we are able to sell, and our audience that watches us, they are buying. And so it's important to support that way, in a way for like that. Like, not only does it support us in a way that gives us a little bit of coins back into our pocket, but also it gives them the data to show, like, hey, we are influential in being able to help you. We're helping them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to be in the show because we don't always get the opportunity to do so. And it's sad that they may not come around and see us just organically, but having that to back us up, it does help them see, and it pushes us to the forefront. Now, I don't expect us to have the same conversation in 5 years, but right now, this is where we are.
Yeah. Yep.
So we do have to support that way. And you don't have to always shop with the same person, but definitely make sure that you are clicking on these links, because I've myself gotten more sponsorships here lately because I talked to you all about the links. And so I've only gotten that because of the direct response of you all shopping through those links. It's a direct. I've not done anything differently. I don't have that many more of my cowbells here with me. It is because I had that conversation with you all. So definitely.
Yep.
I have another question. This one was Vaniece's question, but unfortunately, like I said, you guys, Vaniece did have some technical issues. So I'm just going to ask this question, and anybody can chime in up here on it. So the question is how can a Black person / person of color find comfort in approaching / shopping at a luxury makeup counter?
Well, you go and you go. And you go. And if a little Karen has anything to say, may I speak to your manager? You go, you spend your hard-earned money. And if they have a problem, they can move, and you can have someone else help you.
Yes.
Do not let
100%.
these people do that to you. It's a job.
Yeah.
Come on, it's their job. I'm so tired.
It's so true. I think sometimes when people go to these counters, they get so intimidated because the people that work on the counters think they own the products. But in the same time, I'm coming to buy what I need to get. Like, if you don't want to serve me, show me where the products are. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, I feel like sometimes someone may not be that confident. So when they go to the counter and see someone, especially when you go on counter, you see someone that doesn't look like you, you're going to feel intimidated, especially sometimes you know how these like people on counter, not saying it's bad, but they can be talking against each other, you know, and they're quite closed. So if you're coming to the counter and someone's got a closed energy, you're going to feel a bit more scared anyway. So I think if you want to get your stuff, just go to the counter. But again, there's always going to be that person that's quite scared, but always say, just go and get what you need to get. You know?
Yep.
You've got the money, buy what you need to get. Don't make anyone make you feel inferior.
You also have those instances where they try to push a product on you that very clearly doesn't work, much in the way that SPNation was talking about, where the shade is either the wrong undertone or it's just too doggone light. And I had this experience back in 2015.
Oh my God.
And I know my shade. Okay. So this young lady, first of all, she was doing that thing where she tries to relate to me by using language that she assumes that I'm going to use.
Oh, I hate that. Oh my God.
Don't do that. Just stop.
Oh my
God.
Right
there.
Hey, home
and
girl.
I was, the home girl. I was like, skirt on 22. I did not talk to you like that, ma'am. I did not come up here and say, hey sis, can we do XYZ? You gotta read the room on an individual level, if you please. Appreciate you. So I'm here for my birthday VIB experience of getting my little like mini makeover and stuff. And I was in California. Which is the only time I've actually had this experience. On the East Coast, I do not get this experience no matter who it is. But so she was showing me one of the NARS powder foundations. And before she put it on my face, I said to her that was too light. And she was like, no, honey, it actually it warms up when you put it on. And I was like,
no.
Okay, well, let's see.
No.
I said, let's see. I said, we both looking at the same mirror. This is the exact words I said to her. We are both looking at the same mirror. Let's see what the results are. And I let her go ahead and put it on half my face. And I looked at her from the mirror, like we're looking at each other at the mirror. And I said, it's too light. Now, do you have another representative who can help a woman of color?
Because you cannot.
You don't know what you're talking about, love. And that's fine. Right. If you've never done it before, if you've never worked on deeper skinned clients, okay, that's not your wheelhouse. Point me to somebody who it is their wheelhouse.
Exactly. Like, don't waste my time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't try to just push a product on me in a way that is extremely frustrating. You're wasting my time and it's my birthday. I want to have fun.
Exactly. And that's so important. That's so important that you brought that up, because a lot of times, based on the question, a lot of people think that feeling uncomfortable is just about them not approaching. Sometimes they just jump down your throat, like what you said, and you have to be able to stand up and say, okay, no, this isn't for me as well, because I've gotten so many people that have told me, I just bought all this stuff just because I felt guilted into doing so because the person was so pushy. So it's like, no, you have to really find your ground when you go. Bless you. You have to find your ground when you go to these places and feel confident and comfortable as a shopper to say, okay, no, this is not going to work. Or like Mo said, if they don't want to help you, then find somebody that will, because people don't know what kind of day you're having.
Exactly.
This could be the one time you've come out of your house since 2018. They don't know. You might not have been able to walk before, and this is your first time coming out, and you want to look good.
Exactly.
And,
so true.
Don't let people ruin your day and your experience, and that goes even deeper in that makeup, just in general. And I've heard this story about Oprah. She went to Hermes, right?
Oh, yes, I remember that.
She was in Paris and she had to call Paris, all right? So this is an instance where she called the whole city. She was like, hello, Paris. And she said that they wouldn't let her come in the store. And she had to basically be like, well, do you know who I am? And they're like, you're a Black woman. You're not coming in here. And so she had to call back and let them know, like, I was Oprah Winfrey at the door trying to get a Birkin. And you all were not trying to have me in there. So, it happens on every level, but definitely follow up. If you have a rude experience with someone, don't let them do that, because if they feel comfortable enough doing it to you, then they will ruin everybody else's and continue. So stop it right there. So that's very good. Alicia, did you have something you want to weigh in on that about?
I was thinking about when I visited Bergdorf Goodman, because I think that was the first U.S. retailer that carried Charlotte Tilbury. And I know I've been told I'm not the deepest of brown. I keep getting reminded. And it's always great when someone on Instagram, she's like, yeah, she's Black. I'm like, someone thinks I'm Black. Hooray. So she insisted on putting the contour powder on me, which sure showed up, but it was very cool toned.
Yeah.
And it was like, it works. It's so, I'm like, you can see it, and I know I'm on the lighter brown side of the spectrum, but there are undertones also to consider. Yes. And this is not the undertone for me. So, but I did feel guilty because I'm not going to say she manipulated me, because I just was not aware, and I wanted to buy the Charlotte Tilbury, and I didn't want her to feel bad about that exchange. So, but it's a learning experience. And I think when we retrospectively think about those exchanges, we know better next time to open the dialogue and say, hey, do you have anyone that could probably help me who is a similar skin tone, or were you trained in deeper skin tones? No.
Yeah.
Being trained in deeper skin tones is absolutely the most important part, because if you live in like Rhode Island, Massachusetts kind of area, the Providence Sephora has two makeup artists who are absolutely exceptional, and neither one of them is deeper complected. One is Rochelle and one is Hitomi. Those two do the best job on my face when I want my face done. And it is because they study and understand people of colors, skin tones, and undertones. I had this whole conversation with Hitomi the first time she did my face. She is Japanese. and she slayed my face. No lines of demarcation, beautiful undertone match, everything. And I was like, every time I come in here, I'm asking for her. Yeah. And even like now we're on a first name basis. We hug each other when we see each other, everything. She's seen my baby grow up. Like, I love this woman. And her passion for making sure that people feel good when they leave the makeup table, that's what that is what made me keep coming back. Right. And purchasing and asking for her. That kind of, you know, and I feel bad when I see that people have had these horrible experiences at Sephora who are people of color, whether they're being profiled or they just have a really bad experience at the makeup table, which is something that was, you know, before COVID was such a great part of going to Sephora. Yes. And I see all these, and I've seen a lot of them, especially when I was, I actually had to cover this on Elisa a la Mode when I was the beauty editor there, and I had to read a few different stories about darker skinned Black women who would go in and get a makeover, and it was terrible. Like they would only use purple eyeshadow if they wanted a dramatic look, and like, you know, all the stories about the undertones not matching, and they do color match right there. So like, I don't know. I just, God bless the people who actually get it right, because it does make or break, like you said, Kelsey, your experience, depending on where you are in life. It really does.
I think one thing that I can encourage people to do that are in the room is that, for one, I think you just need to empower yourself. Yes. You need to be able to go into a store knowing what you are looking for, because like my partners, like with my partner, like he likes to walk around a store, look at every aisle. I know what I want, and I ain't got no time to be playing. So like when it comes to makeup, I'm the same way. So when an associate comes up to me, I'm like, I don't need your help. Like you can't help me because I know what you're gonna do to me in this Sephora lighting.
Yes.
So I'm like,
first of all, address that. Okay.
About that. But I mean, I just think, like, let's just say there's a foundation that you're not 100% certain about. I would say narrow it down based on reviews you've seen on YouTube, based on swatches you've seen, based on everything that you can find online. I would say narrow it down to maybe 2 or 3 shades. And of course, I'm talking like pre-COVID, just because certain stores you can't swatch yourself. But if you can in the store right now, go into a store and figure it out yourself. Ultimately, especially if you look around and you see that the associates are all white, because 9 times out of 10, they have no idea. And that's one thing too, I think that we could do is we need to encourage these vendors to actually, actually have master classes for their teams for people of color, like have a POC masterclass, which makes no sense that they don't have any, because I know, like, I've been to like countless Bobbi Brown schools, and it's Bobbi Brown, and I'm like, they have all the shades. And even at a Bobbi Brown school, I'm like, it's just all white people. And anyone who's done any type of makeup, you do not have to be a professional to know that doing makeup on a white person is far easier than doing it on a person of color, because we have there's so many ranges. And with white people, you can technically just throw some on and it's probably going to work. And I'm not saying that it's going to work every time, but it's far easier. So I just feel like that's something that we should push for. But ultimately, I think, like, people who are in the room, you should definitely empower yourself, know what you're looking for, so that you don't have to turn into a Karen. Even though I support being a Karen, like, if you're Black and you want to be one, you can be one, because I'm a Karen. I take care of everything that I need to take care of. I will get my 20% discount. I will get my free shipping. I will get my Amazon Prime extended.
Come on now. I've done and there's no shame there. But I agree with you, Brian, because I know when I first started going to luxury encounters, I felt it like I didn't belong there. You know, I may not have had the bag or the labels or what have you, but what helped me, and I always loved seeing this expression of, like, was when I would walk in, and if they called themselves trying to help me, well, what are you looking for today? I'm like, actually, I'm looking for this, this, and this. I believe I'm this shade right here. I just need to confirm. Oh, okay. So you're aware. I'm very much aware. And I don't even throw out, like, I have a YouTube channel. I don't throw out any of those details, but I let them know I'm not just no raggedy old Black girl walking in here with no money who doesn't know what she's talking about either. So I do feel like you need to walk in with some confidence, shoulders back, chest up, and let them know, like, I might be here in a regular plain outfit, but you don't know what's in my pockets and you don't know what's in my head. I'm Black and I'm smart. don't take that away from me.
That's so funny that you say that, Chelsea.
Anything, they should be treating you just like every customer should receive the same.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yep.
Regardless if you make a sale or not.
Yes, I don't even.
Yes.
I never tell people at the store that I do yuzu unless you know me personally. Like you would have to say it to me, because what I have found, and it doesn't matter what profession you're in, but if they know that you're in it, they are less likely to help you.
Yes.
You know, they just like,
Yes.
oh, she knows. It's like, oh no, I still want some help.
Right. Today I want to come in and be a customer. Now I will tell y'all this
I want
funny
to be
story.
a customer.
I went to Nordstrom and I went to the Lancome counter and I had my girls with me. And bless my little Madison's heart, she was like, my mommy has a YouTube channel and you need to go subscribe to her channel. And she was like, what is your name, mommy? I was like,
I love
it. I got 2 subscribers. And I said, Madison, thank you. I said, but you don't have to. After we left, I said, Madison, you don't have to tell people I'm on YouTube. She was like, but I'm so proud of you, mommy. I want them to know. And I was like, you know what, baby, if that's what you want to do.
That's so sweet.
I'm not gonna steal your shot. It was so cute. I was so embarrassed. But it was like, she was so proud. And she was like, Mommy, you got 1 million subscribers. Everybody should know. I was like, going back to what Kelsey said, I don't. Because there's some days like y'all were saying, I want to go, well, what we're in now. I want to go into Sephora. I just want to walk around. I want to act like I don't know makeup. So I can be a little help, right? Yeah. But then when you try to come at me like I don't know anything, then I'm gonna tell you.
You gotta flex on them, like
right. You gotta do a quick flex.
I know something. That brings me to my next question for Gary. So, Gary, do you feel that diversity and representation of Black people / people of color has evolved? Also, how is the shopping experience for Black people / people of color at the luxury counters in the UK? Because your experience may be a little bit different than ours.
Right.
Okay, I'll answer the first one. So I do feel like representation has gotten better, especially like on social media and in campaigns. I feel like you are seeing a lot more people, color faces, like Black faces, all kind of colors around when you like walk into counters. But I do feel like we can do much better. Like the brands can do so much better. I feel like sometimes when you walk into like certain counters, it could be maybe a Dior or Chanel. When you walk on there, sometimes if you want like obviously makeup, you wanted to get something. If you don't see a Black person, or sometimes they won't have the shades out, how do you know they're so deeper shades? So I do feel like brands need to have more like like people of color on their advertising. That's the only thing. But I do feel like it's getting better, but it's not where we need to be.
Right.
So I do feel like it's getting better, but I would take it steps at a time. You got to think. I feel like brands now, as I was talking about before, are being performative, and obviously they're posting more Black creators. They're getting more darker skin models. But I think like 2 years ago, it's just where was that? Do you know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Right.
Do you notice a big difference since Pat McGrath has come into Selfridges and into your department stores? Do you notice more faces that look like ours, or do you think that it's relatively the same?
I think Pat McGrath, I've noticed more faces, definitely, but not enough. I think they've got like 3 Black girls in their account and the rest are white. But I would say in the UK on the makeup counters, there isn't many Black girls or anything. Unless you go to MAC, that's where they have most of the Black girls or Black guys. But I do think we need to do so much better. I know that when Charlotte Tilbury came into the scene, she had no Black people, and I think people did complain, and she has got Black people now. But it is just, we need to step our game up. We're still not there, but we need to get there. And with our shopping, sorry.
No, I'm sorry, you weren't done. Go ahead.
No, carry on.
I was just going to ask you, like, do you go to besides Harrods and Selfridges? Do you also notice anything in particular at Harvey Nichols or at I believe it's called my goodness,
Fenwick.
Liberty London?
Also.
He's like,
now. So I don't go. I don't go to those stores.
Oh
no!
So both of those stores we spoke about, those are the kind of stores you go in and no one, everyone just like looks through you. That's the thing. I think with Selfridges and like. We have Selfridges, Harrods, those are the kind of stores when you walk in, everyone kind of treats you like the same. Like they approach you, they look at you. But I think when you with Harvey Nichols and other kind of stores, it's very just like there's a certain customer that goes there and they have to be much older and much more flashy, otherwise not looking at you, and it's really, really sad.
Wow. That's terrible.
Really, that's really, really.
Well, I mean, it gives me Barney's and Bergdorf's, how it used to be.
Definitely. And I feel like with the UK shopping experience, it's much different because I've been to the States a few times, and when I go to Sephora and stuff, I think it's they like, even if they're not approached, they'll come to you be like, hey, do you need anything? Here's a basket. But in the UK, it's very much like, well, are we going to speak to you? Are we not? It's very it's very much different. And I feel like the shopping experience in the UK is just, even though everyone's like, they love makeup and addicted to it, I feel like you really have to go your way to get that kind of service. I don't know. It's just, it's just so weird. Like, I feel like in the UK, we're not that attentive to be like, hey, do you want a foundation match you? Do you want this? Do you want that? And if you do go to a counter, they're trying to do the whole 5-trick rule where you buy something, they're trying to link on a sale. It's just, I don't know. It's just different,
I know when I was telling Gary this when we were meeting one-on-one, I went to Europe last October. So we went to Paris, and then we went to Venice, Florence, Rome. Yes. And I told them that every city that we went to, I went to Sephora, because I was like, I just want to see what they have. And when I went to the Sephora in Paris, it had everything. I mean, they even had like Pixie Beauty, and I was like, wow, y'all got everything in here. Wow. Yeah. But then when I went to the Sephoras in the other cities, I was telling him that in some of the Sephoras, my shade wasn't even on display. And I was like, okay, well, maybe my shade is like in the drawers or in the back. They didn't have my shade in store. So like, they just had these lighter shades. And at first I was just like, where are the deeper shades? Like, I'm not even the deepest. Like, why don't they have my shade? And then I kind of had to look around, and I was like, is this the norm here? And is this accepted? And I asked him, I was like, is it the norm to go into a Sephora or some other type of beauty counter and you're not even finding my shades or even anything deeper than that? And I was really shocked. I don't know. I guess, and I felt quite, I don't know. I guess I felt like the standard kind of like, oh, you're American, everything should accommodate you. But then I was just like, but there are people of color here too. Like, it's not just one ethnicity over here. And especially like in Paris and Italy, like there's a lot of Africans there. And so I'm just like,
yes.
So what do y'all do? It was just really shocking.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do?
It's so frustrating.
I think it's kind of odd too. With certain brands, they're like, oh, well, we don't have that. Like, even with like La Prairie, right? They are sold in America, but their darkest shade is like maybe me. Well, for everything that they make, maybe, exactly. It's a strong maybe. And they're like, oh, well, in Switzerland it's different. But I'm like, but I'm in Nordstrom right here in Tennessee, and it ain't nothing there for me. That's how I feel.
I'm like, if you're going to sell products,
never made a shade.
I'm like, if you're going to sell products that are in other countries, especially that have a broader shade range, like, wouldn't you try to accommodate your market? Because we all know that they're in it for money. And if it were me, I'd be like, I'm trying to make all the money I can. So let me try to market everybody, because that means that potentially I can get money from everyone. I mean, like Vikeejeah said, I don't need you to like me. I got family and friends for that. Just
you don't like me, but you will respect. Just like something else that really grinds my gears that I've noticed just across the board with companies is that dang on cushion foundation.
Oh my God, don't stop.
I've had a conversation actually very recently about the cushion foundation.
All I want is a cushion foundation. I
like to be foundation.
I think Michelle found this, but Michelle found this one up one thing.
Kind of thing. Yes, it's Asian market kind of thing. They always say that. But again, like I said, there's Southern Asians who are just like me, honey. So where is it at?
What did you say, Gary?
No, because Michelle found this product because she's got a brand called what the brand's called, but she just bought out a cushion foundation.
Cosmetics.
Yes, and I was so shocked because it's the first kind of brand that I've seen. Well, she had like 2 dark shades, which is still a bit, but still. Remember when I worked at MAC and they had like the Lightful range and they had a cushion foundation and we're going for training. And when it came to the cushion foundation, they were like, "Oh, sorry, we only go up to like an NC like 35." And we were like,
"Why? What is the difference?" Like, I really don't get it. I really don't get it.
I'm like, what is different with the formula of a cushion foundation? The only cushion foundation I've ever owned was made by L'Oreal. I think it came out like 4 or 5 years ago. And
the Dream Cushion, I think it was called.
I think it was a Dream Cushion. It still wasn't the best shade. It was too warm.
Yeah.
But like I wore it in the summertime, and I just wanted the experience of like putting a little cushion in there and going like this. That's all I want.
Yep.
They're always so gray.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ready?
If they
pour
use
my shade in
titanium
the
dioxide,
dang
it's going to be very gray. That's the problem.
Very.
Different foundations are formulated with sun filters, so they have to change the filters that they're using. Like something, I know people like physical, chemical, organic filters that are not going to put a white cast on your face.
We don't nobody want to be casket ready before they got it.
We don't want to be casket ready, but I want to be able to press into the cushion
and look glowy.
Use the foundation and
It's
look
like I had that issue with even though they want a CC cream. I remember I really wanted to try the It Cosmetics. What was it? The CC. I wanted to try that so bad. I remember I actually bought that. I actually got sold that, and I was like, I was in South East Lighting and I bought it. And then when I got home and I was trying it for a mirror, I was like, I look silver.
It looks yes, you look like the Tin Man. I was so mad. I got my first and I was
like a dull silver.
But the thing is, it looks so beautiful. But I was like, this is not cute because when you take a picture, hell no.
No. That can't be like.
Oh man, it's crazy.
I cannot with the CC cream. I am done. The CC cream and the cushion and the BB cream. I'm done. I'm done.
I started saying I'm clearly not gonna get myself an alphabet cream or a cushion, so I'm gonna just sit back.
Vikeejeah. And that is wrong. I ain't gonna give you a cushion foundation the way these are going.
It's so wrong.
Yes, forget the alphabet, like my girl Vikeejeah said. All right,
Alicia. Too much.
Yes, that's how y'all. I actually yell Alicia's name like this every time when I talk to her. Alicia. Okay, my question for you, my darling, is: as a beauty consumer, how do you feel that we can best contribute to the progression of inclusiveness within the beauty community?
Where do I begin?
Woo!
Such a multifaceted question with multifaceted answers. Well, I think for one, to all be on the same conversation, all on the same page, because I think there are different dialogues going on, right? Don't review this because they don't make colors for us. They make colors for us. Well, now it's too late. Oh, so if we're not going to acknowledge that they actually made a shade that works really well. Yeah. So if we're not going to show that we like it, we buy it, and totally ignore it. So what does that equal out to? When is it okay to give the brands a chance? So I think there's so many different conversations going on in terms of what to do and what not to do. And I understand if people feel really strongly about not supporting a brand for their personal, moral, and ethical reasons. But ultimately, in the huger part of the beauty space as a consumer, and you know, Kelsey, you spoke about this. You guys have so much weight in sharing us, in sharing our videos, in emailing brands, and you have seen the difference that has made. Yeah. And the whole
total 180.
Yes. And the advertising frontier has totally changed. Now they're relying on influencers to be their models because they do realize, and we touched upon this just based on the numbers, how many products are bought from influencer links, affiliate links. And I think as a whole, you have the power to change brands' minds. And if they don't want to change their minds despite the efforts that you present, then that, you know, the brand is not for us. We clearly see that with Hourglass. It just boggles me because they make a foundation and concealer that is good. I mean, the shades are okay, but then the powders, they never. And I just like them to be
those quads are crazy. No.
Right. Even if you don't have it, can you just kind of say, you know what? It's just not in the lab or whatever, you know.
It doesn't even make sense. It's like, why are you making a foundation and concealer when I can't use anything to set it with?
Right.
Yes.
It's I
want to do a full face, just like everyone else that you
exactly.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
Because you might be a fan of the foundation and concealer, but if I can't buy the full thing, it's just like you've lost money then, and then you're saying Black people aren't buying your products because you don't have it.
Don't make it.
We can't buy what we don't have.
Right. And I never want anyone to feel like, because I know, yes, I can make the powders work on me, but I never want any of my audience members to feel like, ha ha ha, Hourglass works on me, it doesn't work on you. So sometimes I just don't even bother, right? Because I don't want that to be triggering, but I also want to bring it to the forefront to the brand and say, hey, we actually like some of your products. Can you make it a little more extensive? Because clearly there is a demand.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And speaking on Hourglass again, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say this really quick. The other day when I did my unboxing of the Dior holiday collection, I was wearing this.
The Vanish stick.
Okay. Skin was looking freaking fabulous. Flawless.
That's a beautiful foundation.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. But to your credit, what else can I do besides concealer and foundation in their brands? I get it is super, super frustrating.
Right. And I want everyone to experience the formula. And as much as I love Suku, you know, yes.
Suku.
Whatever that would be. Suku. Suku. You know,
love Brian.
I know.
As much as I love Suku, and I correspond with them, and I do tell them.
Go and get a refill of your drink because you need another one.
My husband is downstairs. He won't get me anymore.
Nancy. You know, it's you guys are in the States now. You see their demand for it. You see that we love good makeup. Okay. We love the foundation that looks like actual skin tones, like in real time. And when we had Adiola up on here, she made an excellent point. You know what? Oh my God. I don't want 50 shades if none of them are going to work.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
You need to spend more time, okay, with the chemistry. Make it worth our time and release a line that's comprehensive and skin-like. That's it.
That's it.
Just open the valves of communication. Everyone is sharing. Okay, you could be a little more sharey as well. Share. Everyone's putting everything on Instagram now.
Right.
Be open about the process if you wish to, in terms of, you know, I'm speaking to the brands here. But it's nice to know, you know, that Japanese brands are realizing that they have to consult with Black and people of color beauty artists and humans to realize that you got to consult with people of these shades to make the shade work.
Right.
To ensure
and gone are the days of take what you can get. That is
exactly.
over.
We're not in those times anymore.
And actually, it's so
like
interesting.
They don't know. They
don't know.
Like
they act like they don't know.
Like, it's kind of like you see how so excited about Clé de Peau. Well, if you're in the know, I'm like, the mother, there's Shiseido. Their mother or grandmother is Clé de Peau, because Clé de Peau is the highest of luxury in Shiseido. And then NARS exists. So why did it take you 52 years to come out with foundation shades? That makes sense. I'm tired of hearing about formulas. I'm tired of hearing about it's so complicated. Like they can email Chelsea. She got an education. She studied biology. She can do something. She can go to the lab and figure this out.
It really comes back to good old elementary school. I take my white, I take my black, mix it together. I take my tan, mix it together. I take my orange. I mean, yes, I know the formulas are not identical, but once again, it goes back into what you want to do. Just like anything, if I really want to do something, I'm going to do it, no matter how much time and effort and sacrifice and money, because we've also heard too, it's actually more expensive to make deeper shades. what were those numbers we said that we spend and we contribute to this beauty industry? Are you not going to get that money back?
And that
you will.
And profit
too. These brands, a lot of these brands, they don't really have a budget. Like if Guerlain were to tell you, you know, it's so expensive. Like I know one thing that they would tell us is, for instance, just fun random fact, Orchidea Imperial cream, a sample of it, a deluxe sample costs $25. So they would tell us, you know, always be cautious with who you give it to. Is this person really going to spend, you know, the $450 on this cream? So it's like a lot of these brands, they're backed by these huge monster brands. They're backed by LVMH, Kendo, Shiseido. Like they don't have budgets. They don't
exactly.
care. So don't
they
tell
just don't
me
want
you
to
can't
do
make
it.
something. It's BS.
Okay, what is a budget? Never seen
budget
in my whole life.
No,
don't know
where.
And once again, I feel like if you hire the people that care, so like Brian said, you know, Sarah over here may not have the interest to create really good quality shades for people of color, but hire me because I'll spend the time and the effort because I care. I want to make a foundation that my mom can wear, that I can wear, my sister can wear, and my other sister can wear because we're all 3 different complexions. Hire me. I'll spend the time and effort to create it, but you're not hiring those people. So then there's no effort, there's no desire, there's no interest in wanting to do that. And then we still get what we have today.
It's something else.
It's something else.
And going back to just briefly, like what Alicia was saying, just about exposing people, just exposing your viewers to different products. That's like one of my things. It's like since I started YouTube ages ago, it's like my whole thing was I want to expose people of color to a wide variety, especially when we're speaking of makeup, not skincare, excluding that, but with makeup, I always want to expose people to brands so that they can see that there are options out there. I'm not saying that there's a plethora of options that these brands are giving, but I want you to know that, hey, yeah, Suku actually has, like when Alicia showed Suku, I was like, oh my God, I think I can pull that off. And I actually could pull it off. So it's like, I wanted people to see that. I want people to see that Guerlain makes shades. I want people to see, you know, just there's so many options out there for us. And yeah, there may be 2 options within, you know, the POC ranges, but I want you to know that it's there. And I want to inspire people to actually go out and actually make these purchases so that these brands can actually, you know, say, hey, maybe we should, you know, dive into this because there's money and it's all just sitting here and we're just waiting.
Bingo. And I think that is what all of our intentions are on this entire panel. Chelsea, Alicia, Mo, Brian, the Plastic Boy, Vikeejeah, all of us have the same intentions. And like Alicia said, it's never a fact of we're going and buying this stuff and saying, we can make it work and you can't. Like that is the furthest thing from our minds. It is to expose you all and to be able to see whether or not it works and to give a chance to the brand. And then from there, those of us who have interest in it, let them know. And those of us who aren't able to work in it and able to use the products, let them know. And I said that before on my channel and I got tore up for that. I remember Torah
was really irked for you.
I remember.
Pissed for you.
It's ridiculous. It is.
It's
crazy.
So, I mean, it's just like anything else, even with plus size clothing. Okay, and it's similar, but it's not. Like in certain clothing stores, they may not have made plus size clothing before, but until people who wore plus sizes said, "Hey, I like your clothes. I want to wear your clothes too." These brands they're not people. They don't have emotions. They don't have feelings. It comes down to the bottom line, which is who is going to spend the money, and if the demand is there enough for them enough for it to make it make sense, as my sis Monique says, not you, but like as they say, like make it make sense, then they'll do it. That just is the world that we're living in right now, and we've come very far. We have. Look at where we were 10 years ago.
Man,
Yeah.
Oh my God,
especially
so
when it comes to
true.
plus size fashion. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
We've
When
come
you were
far.
back in the day, when you were a teenager, you either looked like a rock star or you looked like your auntie.
You're looking like
And that was
Auntie.
that on that.
Which one? So we've come far, but we have further to go. And so having people like us here, I feel like it is very important to support us, all of us. Not just us here now, but just in general, support people who are doing things and don't tear us down for trying to make amends and trying to build relationships with people, because that's the only way change comes. Okay.
And
I think that is the takeaway from this.
Exactly.
That's the biggest takeaway.
If you feel very strongly about something, you have every right to share it.
Absolutely.
But in the end, if this is going to be a collaborative effort and we all have to move forward, then we have to be on the same page with something.
Right.
And when you tag brands and you share, you bought this expensive foundation, look how great it looks on me. Look, because Kelsey recommended this to me and it worked so well, I'm going to buy more. When they see that, the end.
They go,
the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit.
And then they say, followers, tag them. Tag everybody. Okay.
Put the pressure, because representation needs to be priority. Period.
Right. And just to reiterate what Kelsey said, it's not about y'all supporting us solely so we can make more money. It's so we as a community can get what we need, because once again, if they don't see us, like, they're not just perusing YouTube trying to find us. First of all,
the algorithm's not going to let them find us.
I didn't want to say that, but there you go. You're not promoting us, okay?
Don't be showing us at all.
Look, the tube of you, because that's what I call it when it makes me upset. The tube of you is not promoting us. So even if they were looking for people of color, they're not going to find us. But they do see us. They got to go to page 2,
page 5,
sometimes page 3,
page 6.
Right. So, but they do see a tag, they do see a mention, and don't feel like your voice cannot be heard. I mean, when we had the opportunity to speak with Niels, it was because one of you all said, "Hey, Niels," in his DM, and
I'm talking about
was like, "This is unacceptable. I do not want to." I want change for you. And I want to see Kelsey and Alicia do more with you, because those are the people I watch and those are the people that I want to see more of your products from. So don't think that your voice is too small and that these brands won't listen and pay attention. Your voice definitely makes a difference.
That literally is how Behind the Beauty was birthed.
Yes.
Because Alicia and I had a conversation behind the scenes with Niels. And we were talking to him about, everything that had transpired. And one of Alicia and I's supporters, she emailed him. I mean, she probably had, I don't even know, 200, 300 followers. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because she's a value customer. She had been shopping there for years. And she said that this is that. I want to talk. And she arranged for us to talk. And we all had a meeting behind the scenes. And so he agreed to come on. And that's how we created Behind the Beauty. Because we felt like it was such a great conversation, and the fact that he took the time out to come and try to talk to us and get our point of view and how he could make things better. Right. And, from there, we were like, we should just keep doing this. And so that's why we have done this. And that is why we do Behind the Beauty. But also we have our own individual channels too. And you all know that. And so we all love what we love. And so we do want to keep pushing forward. So to close out this, anybody have any last statements? Because this has been a fantastic.
Y'all have been just amazing. And I have to give Gary a special shout out. It is currently after 1 a.m. First of all, is he beat to the gods and looking so flawless at 1 a.m. something in the morning, Gary? Thank you to everybody for being here. But I definitely wanted to point that out because he did not have to come at this time, sacrifice his sleep. But all of them, I mean, Mo, Brian, Vikeejeah, once again, you guys made this episode exactly what it needed to be with your voices. Vaniece, I'm so sorry. Your internet was not trying to let you be great. So wish you could have been up here with us. But thank you all so much for just contributing to this and being honest and open and sharing your experiences with us.
Absolutely. This is like one of my favorite episodes ever.
Yes.
Seriously.
I want to do this again. I want to do this again. Changing the topic.
Yeah.
My last, oh, I'm sorry. No,
I just wanted to say briefly, there are currently 319 people in the room right now. I'm gonna need y'all to hit that button. Go
Come
ahead,
on.
get
The
it.
like button.
Hit the
And
like
if you're
button.
not subscribed to any of us, links are down below. Just go ahead and
Subscribe to all of us.
Subscribe
Support
to everybody
us
named
all.
Mama.
That's all you gotta do.
Thank
Yes,
you,
we're
Brian, for
all
that.
on. Yes, we're all on Instagram.
Hit that like.
And sometimes that Instagram translation doesn't come over to YouTube. Sometimes the
Right.
YouTube translation doesn't go over to Instagram.
Right.
Y'all follow and support us.
Yes.
Just like you follow and support the most other random things. Like if you love us and you want to support us, it costs nothing to subscribe and to like and follow. Because
Just go to that click.
it's just a little click. And that really helps us keep going in this algorithm and being able to just, it's not even for our own personal ego. It's literally a beauty ecosystem, like my girl Vikeejeah said.
Yes.
You have
She
to
always
keep it going. It has to go. We have to grow as things grow. And if we're getting left behind as everybody else is going forward and taking off, you know, not only does that, it messes with us mentally, it does. But also, it just, I lost my train of thought. But honestly, just go follow us on
our community because our voices won't be heard. If we're not the ones talking about what we need, unfortunately, we can't expect other people to discuss and share what we need because they don't know.
Kelsey.
So I think that's where you were going, Kelsey. I think that's where you were going.
We got you, Kelsey. You caught it.
Yeah, thank you.
I can say for me, like as of now, since I returned to YouTube in April, and I love the support that I've been getting. I can tell you definitely that for me, it costs you nothing to subscribe, and I've made absolutely nothing since I've returned. So I truly appreciate it when you subscribe.
And that's what people don't know.
Everything.
That's it.
We can actually rich off of YouTube.
I love doing it. I love doing it.
I do.
Yes.
So,
And it really is you all who keeps us going, especially the ones who support us all the time. You're always commenting. There'll be days like right now. I have a video that I recorded on Sunday and I have not sat down to edit it, but I'm like, I gotta get it up because you all show so much love and support and you're like, where are you? I miss you or what have you. And so just keep doing what y'all are doing. Y'all are amazing. And we will forever be grateful for your support for us because you don't have to support us. There's so many people on this platform that you could support. So we really appreciate your constant support and efforts and recommendations of us as well. It means everything.
Yes, it does.
I just want to extend and say one more thing. I'm sorry. I appreciate everybody who, you know, my channel has seen so much growth since I finally found my niche and I found my community as well. So I want to thank everybody who has done that because you're the driving force behind the, you know, what makes me come on here and do this all the time and move things around and, you know, in my life to make it happen because the bottom line is, and I think the biggest takeaway from this entire conversation is that the world moves differently for us in every facet of our lives.
Sure does.
And we have to make, you know, we have to put more effort in getting the results that we are after. And I think we all know this, right? Most of us in this conversation know this and experience this. So that's what the conversation was about, sort of giving you guys a little bit of insight into what it's like as the content creator behind the scenes before you see this video of us putting on foundation and all these other things. And then you have these opinions and thoughts that are sort of rooted in being a consumer and not being a content creator. So we just wanted to give you guys some insight about that. And I'm so glad that you came through and supported us and are able to take this information back into the social media of it all, you know, Beyonce's internet, and let other people know what is really going on so that we can get that support across the board. So thank you.
And it's okay to wear a tassel on your lipstick. Thank you, Carolina Herrera.
It is.
Oh, what?
Carolina! Okay, you see that?
To get
That was a great influence. Appreciate you.
Yes, all of you all, thank you so much. I actually want you all to hang out backstage really quickly, and we're gonna go ahead and close out this live. But thank you so much, Mo, Brian, the Plastic Boy, and Vikeejeah for being here with us today. I mean, this conversation was so valuable.
Yes.
So just hang out, you guys, real quick. Bye. You all, that conversation was just everything. And I know we're a little bit over the time, but I just felt like it was necessary.
It was completely necessary.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Alicia is our resident timekeeper because we've said it before. Me and Chelsea started talking. It's done.
Alicia
we're
like,
just
ladies.
She's like friends.
But tonight was so necessary.
It was so necessary. And you guys, we're actually going to do part 2. We have a few more people coming next week to continue the conversation of being Black in beauty. And next week, we're going to explore from a slightly different side. Okay. And we have more questions that we have curated. So please join us again. It'll be back here on my channel. Look out for that flyer. And we appreciate you. The time is going to be the same time.
Yes.
It is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I don't know the other time zone, so you're going to have to look it up. So that's it. Figure it out. But thank you all so much, seriously. And I mean, I never tell you all thank you because I just feel like it's a given, but sometimes you need to say it. Thank you both, Alicia and Kelsey.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. I mean, because I told you all before that, you know, I've been doing YouTube for 10 years and I didn't really have anybody that I could relate to on this level. I mean, I have friends that do YouTube and we're in the same space, but our experience is so different. And so to be able to have somebody like you all to share this experience with and be able to understand on a different level, I think that that is so important. And I'm so glad that we have connected and we've been able to do this thing, what we're doing right here. So I appreciate you all too. So
Kelsey, girl, you about to make me drop a thug tear, and I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it.
Don't do it. So
you know,
I
love
mean,
you, Kelsey. Thank you
oh
for
my gosh, I love
being
y'all.
the brains behind the beauty. What you all see, the excellence that you see from this is literally Kelsey. And without Kelsey, Alicia would be over here in struggle bus. So we thank you, Kelsey. Thank you for taking this seriously and letting us be a part of it.
Yes, we are sisters. Like seriously, it goes so much deeper than YouTube.
Like a giant tree. Did I say the words right? Reaching up for the sky.
Yes. All right, you all. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night. We'll be back next week for another episode. Bye.
Bye.